boldness and determination. And we're not stepping out on our own. If you're a follower of Christ, you have the Holy Spirit of God within you, which means you have access to the Spirit's influence. And as you go and as you speak, the Spirit is going to be working through you. So we need to step up with some encouragement and some courage. The Apostle Paul understood the importance of why we should share the gospel. Personally, he was selfless. He was willing to go share the gospel even if he had to have a job on the side to make sure that it happened. Now, publicly, he was courageous and unwilling to let anything stand in the way. He often put himself out there, and yes, indeed, people came against him. He had harm inflicted against him. Now, sharing Paul's courage and being like Paul, man, it's going to take some courage on our part. We're going to have to be willing to step up, to take more difficult paths in order to reach our friends, to tell them what they need to know. Now listen, I know some of you want to share the gospel. You really do. But you struggle with it. You have a desire within you, but practically you're not making it happen. You have some concerns. And yes, I recognize that there's some fear about sharing about Jesus. Maybe it's not your style to confront people. And I get that. That's a lot like how I am. We're going to help you with that. Even though this is the last day, the last message of this Whatever It Takes series, next Sunday, one week from today, we want you to come back. I'm going to take the preaching time and share with you a simple approach of how to share the gospel. It's a little bit of a review, but I want you to come back and get a little bit of insight. And I believe it will help you if you'll receive it and begin to work on it, practice it, and begin to share it. You'll actually step out there and begin to share with courage. Because it's time for us to overcome our fear. We got to let those kind of things go. It's time to build up our courage. Speaking of courage, we need to be praying for our mission team that's in Central Asia. This morning I received an update, a text from our team. And as you know, as we talked about last week, they were going to have some opportunity to share the gospel. They're in a Muslim country. And we're talking like 95 to 98% of the country is a Muslim country. They're Muslims. And if you're a follower of Christ, you are in the very small minority. And not only that, there have been people who have been open with their faith in the gospel of Jesus Christ. They're openly Christian in that culture who have actually lost their lives from some radicals who killed them. So it's not always easy to share the gospel there. Most people don't want to hear the gospel. But there's a unique event that happens a couple of times a year in this country in which people are making a spiritual pilgrimage up a hill, and they're going there because they believe somehow that they're going to get some kind of blessing or answer to their prayers. And what we found, some Christians have found, that you can line up along this pathway where these people are making their way up this mountain, and they will let you pray for them. And it was in the context of these people saying, hey, we'll pray for you as you have these needs, that they began to share the gospel. We talked about the henna tattooing. This is where that began. And they began to share the gospel with a little temporary tattoo. Well, just yesterday, they were out there sharing the gospel. And here's the result. In this predominantly Muslim country, they said that we were told there were 76 listeners yesterday. So 76 people heard the gospel, most likely for the very first time. 35 of those actually had the henna tattoo on their arms written out, which means even now the gospel is on their arms. Isn't it an amazing thing? So for the next few days, until that thing fades away, every time they look down at their arm, the gospel is going to be presented in front of them. And here's the kicker. Whereas in recent years they've had opportunity to go unhindered in sharing the gospel, officials came along yesterday and told them to quit passing out gospel information. And so now they've got a decision to make because there's more of this that's going on, more opportunities of this pilgrimage and being able to share the gospel. And so what do you do with that? Let me tell you what's going to happen today. It's already happening. 12 people on our mission team, and along with some of these other missionaries that are living there, 12 of them have gone out anyway with the henna tubes, and they're going to share the gospel anyway. And that's courage, man. Listen, we think about that and we think, man, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I could go someplace like that where it might bring harmony. I've got a wife, I've got kids, I've got a spouse. And I get that. That's reasonable. I understand. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go. But let me put it this way. Today, you can share the gospel without any fear on your life because you live in this free country.